Wasted World of Sports, ahoy! How is everybody doing? Live on YouTube, live on TikTok, ready for some more Big Bash action, and things are absolutely heating up. A top of the table clash tonight, one that we were denied of just a few nights ago when it was rained out without a ball being bowled. But now we get to see all the action. Hobart Hurricanes, who, in my opinion, shaping up to be the favourites for the competition against the Sydney Thunder. Can the Sydney Thunder recover after a literal crash between Daniel Sams and Cameron Bancroft, having to turn to Dan Christian to bail them out last time out? Should be a cracking contest. I'm slightly leaning towards the Hurricanes, not just because they're the home team, but also because I can tell you they have won the bat flip and they've elected to bowl first. And we saw the Sydney Sixers last night kind of cock up their run chase, didn't they? But teams who have been chasing have had a tendency to do it quite well. So whenever the bat flip is had and a team wins the bat flip and elects to bowl first, I'm immediately leaning towards them for the win. Welcome along, everyone. Wasted World of Sports live on YouTube, live on TikTok, soon to be once again live on Twitch and live on Facebook. Your source for alternative commentary, alternative sports commentary. Dan Jam, ahoy there, mate. Monique Martin, ahoy. And Agiro, ahoy there. Welcome along to this top of the table clash between the Hobart Hurricanes and the Sydney Thunder. Now, in terms of a same game multi, Jesus, I'd forgotten all about it until somebody reminded me in the chat room. Dan Jam over there on YouTube asking me if I'm over the seagull yet. I did actually do a Google search earlier today just to see if anybody had done an update on the seagull. Couldn't find anything. But yes, I'd forgotten all about it. And now I've been reminded. Thank you. A very sad moment. Okay, that was a happy accident. All right, I've put my drink in there, and obviously in the rush to go live, I've not put the mixer in. It's all good. These things happen, especially on cricket fields. XJC, ahoy, mate. Welcome along. Getting ready for this one. The Hobart Hurricanes. It's all right. By the time Six Nations rolls around, it will be all forgotten. Very much looking forward to that. Wasted World of Sports covering all the Six Nations for, I believe, the very first time. I think. Did I do the Six Nations last year? I can't recall. Maybe not. I did partially, yeah, I thought so. I thought so. I didn't do rounds 4 and 5. There was probably a reason for that, but I can't think of what that reason might be. Certainly not. But we'll see this year. Six Nations, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the Lions tour. And we'll certainly be doing a little bit more Super Rugby as well. Because at the end of the day, even though the bread and butter, so to speak, of this channel has been NRL, it's still The rugby union still does much bigger numbers. So at the end of the day, it makes sense to kind of focus on that a little bit more. And we're also trying to get Michelle into covering some AFL. Thoughts on covering the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks? No, it's not really for me. Whoa, my God, that's gone green behind me. Where the thing about streaming with a big-ass TV in front of you is weird lighting effects, right? Unusual lighting fragments that go onto the green screen behind me. But no, probably not. Probably not. Jam. I don't even watch the Super Bowl. Absolutely no offense to those that do. It's just not for me, you know? Not a sport I get into. Chris, ahoy there, mate. Thunder or Hobart, who's going to win? I've gone for the Hurricanes. Hurricanes are coming for top spot. You know, I don't believe the Hurricanes have ever won the competition. I was looking at this the other night, and the Hurricanes have been in a couple of finals. And I mean the grand final, the big one. But I don't believe they've won it. I feel like this could be their year. They're in a very good place at the moment. They've got a game in hand. And sitting in third. But they'll be very well positioned here to leapfrog the Sydney Thunder and go into top spot. Jay Mozza. Who am I backing to win? The Hurricanes for this one. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. My multi. My same game multi. Okay, so for this first part, where the Hurricanes will be bowling and the Thunder batting, I've gone Riley Meredith and Chris Jordan for anytime wicket taker. And David Weenie Warner and Sam Billings, both to get 10 plus runs. And that'll be the first part of the multi. So fingers crossed for that one. And then I'll worry about the second part of the multi, because it's 8 legs, 4 for each innings. I'll worry about the rest of it when the time comes. We picked up a good one the other week. That one was 9 legs, I think. And we got that one up. Last night's game was a bit of a shambles. The Sydney Sixers really let us down. But that's all right. You win some, you lose some. Right, that's the nature of the whole thing. But Hobart Hurricanes, I think, to get this one, they're just looking really, really good, the Hurricanes. I'm really liking the looks of them at the moment. And we're at the back end of the tournament, right? So by now, the teams who are really going to showcase in the finals, they've already announced themselves. The Hurricanes are one team that has announced themselves. Oh, the Sydney Sixers lost, all right, XJC. Boy, did they lose. They crumbled before our very eyes. Twice they crumbled. They crumbled with the ball when they had the stars in all sorts. And then Glenn Maxwell put on a show, very ably assisted with his batting partner. And bloody, they were cruising to victory with the bat as well. And then it all crumbled. So twice they threw that game away. It was funny because last night we were talking about what sort of score should the Melbourne Stars be thinking about just to be competitive. And we were talking about the prospect, the situation they were in. We were talking about 120, 130. I mean, they should look to get to 130 at the minimum. Maybe push for 140. And at least then they've got something to bowl at. So bad did the Sydney Sixers bowling become that the Melbourne Stars, of course, ended up with something like 169 or 159. It was way more than they deserved. The Hobart Hurricanes have won the bat flip here and have elected to bowl first. The sensible option, but you've got to back it up on the field. The Sydney Sixers did not back it up. Can the Hobart Hurricanes back it up at home? We'll have to see. Very much looking forward to this one. Sam getting 100. Very nice. Sam Konstas out to bat. Opening the batting, of course, back in from the test team. Now, the players coming back in from test duty. It's very interesting. So, the Brisbane Heat, my team, we've got Marnus Labuschagne and Usman Khawaja. And they're being made available for one game only. One game only. I don't understand the point. Brisbane Heat are renowned for that, though, aren't they? Signing players that aren't going to play the whole competition. Up the NRL, you need 60 plus for Sam Konstas. Well, there you go. Geordie T says he's getting 100, so I thought about sticking with my normal tactic of picking players to hit sixes, but I'm not that confident in either side tonight. I think when I say I'm not confident in either side, both teams are capable of winning. So this is going to go right down to the wire. I can't say for certain that anybody's going to hit sixes or not, so I've just gone for run scoring. As the clock counts down, and we're underway here, Riley Meredith to bowl the first ball. And he is on target immediately, but nicely turned off the pads. We're off the mark. We're off and running in this game. None for one. A good start for Riley Meredith. Rock my balls, ahoy, mate. Any more Melbourne teams going to play tonight or this weekend? Not tonight, but certainly across the course of the weekend. Whoops. I disappeared. I disappeared momentarily. That was weird. David Warner to face his first delivery. Meredith gets a lot of shape, but shapes too much into the left-hander. And Warner plays it square of the wicket. Back for two easy runs. Oh, that's on the TV. Okay, I heard this really random sound like I was at an airport or something. Paddy Conroy, ahoy, mate. Welcome along. Meredith in again. Much better delivery to the left-handed Warner. Shaping back into middle stump, and Warner can only fend it away for no run. Isaacs, 24. You've got Warner in your super coach. Well, David Warner's been doing very well, hasn't he? He's in fine form. A good player to have in the super coach. Live from Ninja Stadium. This stadium is literally called Ninja Stadium. Warner just fends it down to his toes. Thinks about a quick single. But Konstas wants no part of that. Ninja Stadium, huh? Zoe, ahoy, welcome along. How are we doing tonight? 2 balls left in this opening over. A slower one from Meredith. Warner doesn't fall for that. And he plays it away to deep square leg for 2 more. I wouldn't have thought so, Dan Jam. No. I wouldn't have thought that ninjas are particularly prevalent in Tasmania. Devils, on the other hand. You're doing good, so you just woke up. Oh, very nice. I just woke up not that long ago myself. Yes, being a full-time sports commentator on social media, you keep some very odd hours. Meredith, final ball. Played away. They'll still get the 2. It was knocked down. They came back for 2 anyway. And it's none for 7 after the first over. A real stalemate. Good start for both sides. There's a racetrack in the UK simply called Sausages. I can believe that, actually. I can believe that. So we've already got some friendly wagers happening for the NRL season ahead. Dan Jam, it once again involves the Canberra Raiders. I'm doubling down. Once again, I've got them as my favourites to win the wooden spoon. And our good friend UFC seems to have taken personal offence to that again. 2nd year in a row. I think UFC secretly, he claims to be a Warriors fan, but I think he is secretly a Canberra Raiders fan. As this is a wide to start with for Stanlake. The start of the 2nd over, and how many times have we seen that? To start the over, bowlers strain down the leg side. Stanlake guilty of it on this occasion. Konstas looking for the ramp. Beautiful delivery, full, right on line with middle stump, and Konstas can simply play it straight back down the pitch where Stanlake fields his own bowling. That was a magnificent delivery. None for 8 after that wide to start the over. Konstas charges. Can't beat the man at mid-off. Just a single. None for 9. 1.2 gone. XJC over on YouTube. Ask what date I expect to start the gaming channel. I cannot narrow it down to a date. I mean, I would be hoping before January's over, but I can't say that with any certainty. Pretty much wasn't expecting the cricket streams to go as well as they have been on TikTok anyway. I understand that the streams are very quiet compared to the rugby streams over there on YouTube, but yeah, they're going quite well on TikTok, so I wasn't really expecting that, so it has delayed me having time for anything else at the moment. Already, I feel like the Hurricanes, they'll need to pick up the pace at some point. They've been very slow getting through these opening 2 overs. Warner turns it off the pads. Just another single. So that's where it's at, XJC. And I've also got to try and set a date with Party Jesus so that we can film. It's not really essential, but we're looking to film some promotional stuff beforehand. Konstas looks to free up the arms. And they're keeping him very quiet. Konstas 2 runs off the first 4 deliveries he's faced. When will he start to get frustrated? Draw the false shot. A false shot can draw an edge. Or just a little loop to mid-on or mid-off. Steps way across his stumps. Konstas gives himself a lot of room. And he just pulls it out to the man at deep square leg. Just a single. Good over this one from Stanlake after his first ball. Sprayed down the leg side. XJC asking what games I expect to play. Depends what's out at the time. Stanlake's final ball. Warner pushes it out to mid-off, and they come through for a single. None for 12 of 2 overs. Not the greatest start, but no wickets down. That's the key here for the Thunder. Konstas and Warner, obviously, if they see out this first 10 overs, and they're still there, and a power surge is called, look out. There'll be a lot for the highlight reel. Who's going to get the first wicket? Well, hopefully for me, Meredith. Nathan Ellis, though, into the attack. And he is on target immediately. Warner turns it to the offside. A single out to deep point. David Warner looks like he's set up for one of those big innings. Building himself up nicely once again. And the last time we saw this, the last couple of times we saw this from him, he went on to make very, very big scores. Ellis, slower ball, full delivery to Konstas. Just guides this one down to mid-on for another single. Boundary's hard to come by. A very slow start here. The Hurricanes bowling well. Slower ball, wide outside off. Warner just chops it into the turf. No run. Cheers, the Beetle. How are you, mate? It's all good, buddy. I've been doing this for a long time, so I know to... It's obvious why I can't show the screen, right? Copyright and all. So I just ignore the people that ask. When I first started the channel, I used to try and explain it to people, but it just got tiresome. So now I just let them nag themselves to death, asking in the chat room. .4 overs gone. Nathan Ellis is bowling for the Hobart Hurricanes. Dean. Konstas on strike, bangs it in short. And Konstas was through that shot way too early. The ball just holding up in the pitch a little bit there. Konstas, maybe the transition back from Test cricket to T20. Mind you, not that he played the Test any differently than he played T20 games. But it's just interesting. He's not... he doesn't seem with it at the moment, Konstas. He seems like he's struggling out there. And it's very slow going here at the moment for the Thunder. Ellis, with his last delivery, Warner lifts him up over the top of short third man. And well fielded out there. Right on the fence. And they've come back for 3. Very hard run. None for 19 after 3. Dean asks, what's the field like? The pitch itself seems a little green and a little slow. The field, well, we saw there, I would have expected that to race away to the boundary. It seemed to pull up and give the fielder time to get across and cover it off. Michelle, ahoy there. Over on YouTube tonight, eh? You would expect this to race away over the outfield. And it kind of was, in fairness. That was actually just magnificent fielding. Riley Meredith back into the bowling attack. None for 7 off his first. Warner goes after him straight away. Can't beat the man at mid-off. He's broken his bat. David Warner's broken his bat. Snapped the handle clean off. He went after it. Oh, and he's hit himself in the back of the head. That's the best thing I've ever seen. That is the most fantastic thing I've ever seen. David Warner has smashed himself in the back of the head with the bat. Doing what a lot of us would love to do, I'm sure. He needs to have a concussion test now, surely. He has walloped himself. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. The new bat's out there with him, and he starts with a dot. Why is there no concussion test? He looks so surprised. Well, I suppose you would be, wouldn't you? It should be that if you break your bat, 2 bat. Oh, by the way, David Warner's got 10 plus runs, so there's a tick off the multi. Thank you, David Weenie Warner. You've done your job for me tonight. Meredith, slower ball. Drifting down the leg side a little bit. Backward square for 1. Yes, I had David Warner, 10 plus runs. And he is now 14 or 14. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Meredith follows Konstas as he backs away, trying to give himself room, and they are frustrating Sam Konstas here. Dean, I can only show clips after the fact. So, like, completely after the game. Like, I've got a bunch of shorts on TikTok and YouTube where I actually put the gameplay footage over the top of the commentary. But whilst the game is happening, it's Konstas. He's got the shits and he's gone after it. And he loops it straight up in the air. And it's been taken behind the stumps. Exactly what we were talking about. He never looked comfortable tonight, Konstas. Never looked comfortable. He was starting to get pinned down and frustrated. And the Hobart Hurricanes here showing how the Indians should have played Konstas. Barry Kane, ahoy, mate. But even then, Dean, it's quite iffy. Like, I did a clip once of PG when they defeated the Wallabies in the Rugby World Cup because it was such a big moment. And I put it up the day after the game, and World Rugby, boom, straight onto me. Straight onto that with a takedown request. Sam Konstas, he never looked comfortable. He always looked frustrated out there tonight. Riley Meredith bangs one in short. Konstas goes to hook it away to the boundary, gets nothing but top edge. It goes straight up in the air and taken by the keeper, and that is now another tick off the multi for Riley Meredith, taking the wicket. Brings Jilks to the crease. He charges Meredith immediately. Gets it away square for 2. Jason Sanderson says, "Let's go, Thunder Nation." Oh, the most shocking thing I've ever seen. Michelle, remember when, was it Victor Radley? Victor Radley was spasming in the middle of the field and they cut the cameras away? And how traumatized we were? Well, this, because it involved an animal, this is now the most traumatizing thing that I've ever seen on a cricket field, because this poor seagull got absolutely cleaned up by the ball. They cut the camera away immediately, and the batsman who hit the ball was just he was traumatized. Stanlake to Warner. Warner stands and delivers a beautiful cut out to deep point, who fumbles it, and they get back for 2. AFL BMX, ahoy mate. Yes, of course I remember you. Nixon B saw the seagull incident. Very traumatizing. No, it wasn't Peter Siddle, Michelle. I can't remember who the batsman was. Stanlake, slower ball. Warner just guides it square of the wicket for 1. James Vince. James Vince, that was the batsman. All right, so my multi, I still need Chris Jordan for a wicket. He hasn't bowled an over yet. And Sam Billings, 10 plus. What do I think of the Aussie squad for the Sri Lanka series as Jilks pulls this one into the gap? And here is a boundary, and the first boundary in what feels like an eternity here. Jilks straight into the action. Nixon B, I've tipped the Hurricanes in this one. 3 balls left. Stanlake again taking the pace off. Overthrows? No. They thought about overthrows, but they settle for 1. Barry Kane says, good to see Billy Stanlake bowling 148 again after his injuries. And he's none for 13 off his 1.4 so far. 1 for 30. The Sydney Thunder. Drifting down leg side here, Stanlake. A wide. Yes, it's called a wide. David Warner, 17 off 16. He's done his job for me. I had him 10 plus. Dropping it in short. Warner goes for the pull. Gets it into the gap. And they'll come back for 2. Warner moves to 19. Konstas didn't get to 10. Konstas was out for 4 runs. Final ball here for Stanlake. Warner just punches it down to backward point. For a single to finish, none for 17 off his 2 overs. Stanlake. And the Thunder are 1 for 34. Interesting. They would have wanted a few more runs, I dare say. And then the wicket was really a setback for them. We know what Jilks can do, though. Jilks and Warner can still very much control the flow of this innings. Who the hell is this? Hatsaglu. Hatsaglau. Hatsaglow. I'll just call him Hats. The old Hatser. Into bowl. And he starts with a wide outside off stump. Simon, number 1 goat, says, come on, Hobart. Peter Hatsaglu. Hatsaglau. Why have I never heard of this guy before? Crazy. Oh, David Warner goes for the reverse. Goes for the reverse sweep. An appeal from behind the stumps. The umpire is unmoved. Hatsaglu. Interesting. He's a new player that gets hardly any games. Well, they've gone upstairs for this. Matthew Wade was very interested in this. David Warner went for the reverse sweep. And Matthew Wade went up immediately. He was really the only one interested. But they've gone upstairs to have a look here. David Warner, 20 from 20. And he looks to have missed that by a long way, but we'll see. Matthew Wade went up straight away. Very, very keen on it. Oh, right there. He's brushed it. I reckon he's got an edge on this. Ultra edge to confirm or deny. No, it's gone through. Nothing on Ultra Edge. There you go. Izzy and Tiana says, can you please say hi, Israel? Ahoy, Israel. Izzy, I'm assuming. In the Izzy and Tiana. Well, there we go. Not out. I don't know what Matthew Wade must have heard to make him appeal, but he thought for sure that was out. Warner, this time, cuts it up over the top of cover for 4. Beardin, how'd Konstas get out? Well, he was very bogged down from the start, never once looked comfortable. Meredith banged one in short, drew him into a hook shot attempt. A top edge, straight up in the air. Matthew Wade behind the stumps. Claims the catch, and they're looking for overthrows again. David Warner's interested, but Jilks doesn't want anything to do with it. David Warner was actually a little frustrated at Jilks an over or two ago. They missed an overthrow. A decent start this from Hatzelglue, though. Wide outside off. Jilks chops at it and comes up with nothing but air. I might not have ever heard of him before tonight, but he is bowling extremely well. None for 5 so far. Watch him get hit for 6 now. In again. No, he's not hit for 6. Jilks will push for 2 here, though. It's not there. Just the single. Down to long on. 1 for 40 after 6 overs. They're just a little bogged down here, the Thunder. 6.86. The run rate is not terrible. But honestly, with Konstas and with Warner, you would sort of hope, if you're the Thunder, that you're traveling along a little bit faster than this. Chef, ahoy there. Welcome along. Who's your tip to take out the BBL this year? Well, I reckon the Hobart Hurricanes are a red-hot chance. They've got a little bit of a hoodoo to break if they're going to get there, though. And, I mean, outside of that... Oh, they've got the bat up in the commentary box that David Warner broke. And despite their struggles, you can never write off the Sydney Sixers or the Perth Scorchers. I mean, they're 2 teams that will always be in the contest. As Jilks turns this away to deep mid-wicket for 1. I think the Heat would make the finals. They're probably in the biggest danger of missing out of the current teams in the top 4. But as the Brisbane Heat are my team, I would very much love it if they do make it to the finals, as Warner turns it to the leg side, runs the first one hard, wants a second. Jilks not up for it again. Chiefs 2024, ahoy there, mate. Yeah, Konstas got out a top edge off a hook shot, went straight up in the air and just looped back to Matthew Wade behind the stumps. Easy catch. On his way for 4 runs. Not a good return for Sam Konstas to T20. Chris Jordan into the bowling attack. Draws the edge. And the catch is taken. Jilks is on his way. And Chris Jordan gets the 3rd tick off our multi. Now we just need Sam Billings for 10+ runs. And we're laughing all the way to the bank. Well, we're halfway there. Just a stock standard delivery, line and length. Draw the drive, get the edge. Chris Jordan gets the breakthrough. 3 legs of the multi down. Fletty, do you reckon the Scorchers are a chance for the finals? Absolutely. Absolutely they are. I would say that the Scorchers and the Brisbane Heat swap at some point. Brisbane Heat currently sitting in 4th, I'm pretty sure. The Scorchers breathing right down their neck. They'll be the team to dislodge them, I would say. Ollie Davies, he's been struggling. They are going to need every little bit of his potential here tonight. 2 for 42. 6.3 overs gone. Let's have a look. BBL. And he's on target immediately to Davies. Punches it down to long off. Just the single. Okay, let's have a look. Cricket. Or cricket. 2020 Big Bash. Jordan in again. Beautiful ball again. Warner just guides this one out to deep point for one. Wow, there's so many T20 tournaments around the world, isn't there? It's crazy. The T20 Blast, the SA20, Indian Premier League. Yeah, but yes, I suspect the Perth Scorchers will leapfrog the Brisbane Heat at some point. 4 runs and a wicket for Chris Jordan and a dot ball to finish. So, 1 for 4 off his first over. Chris Jordan, well bowled. 7 overs gone. It's 2 for 44. The Hurricanes right on top here. Right on top. Ollie Davies, though. Could this be his night? He hasn't really performed in BBL 14 so far. Even if he just plays a support role for David Warner, we know that David Warner can go on and get a very, very big score here. 27 from 24. He is setting himself up to bat all the way through. We've seen him do it before, and the Sydney Thunder will need him to do it again. Hatzelglue back into the attack. And Warner happy to just play this one. Down to long on for the single. Davies will come on to strike. It all comes undone now for the Thunder if David Warner gets out. He's the key wicket. No matter what you think about David Warner, whether you like him or not, he is certainly the key wicket here. Davies drives nicely. Chris Jordan races around from long on. Cuts off the boundary, but they come back for 2. Matt over there on TikTok. Ahoy there. Wasted World of Sports, of course, live on YouTube and live on TikTok. Bringing you alternative commentary of your favourite sports. Davies this time cuts away to the offside, beats the man in the circle, but still just a single. The Hurricanes just ahead here. Long way to go in this match, though, of course. We saw what happened last night. It looked like the Sydney Sixers were on top multiple times throughout the match. As Warner cuts this one past the man at point. And it beats deep point to the fence for 4 as well. That was beautifully timed, beautifully placed. Dare I say, vintage David Warner. Got that away nicely. In between 2 fielders, the man in the circle and the man on the fence. He'll be happy with that shot. Hatzelglue floats this one up, tempting for David Warner, I'm sure. Settles with just the single down to long on. That must have just taken so much self-control, David Warner, not to go after that one. Ollie Davies. Oh, gets the inside edge and it goes straight down at his feet. Could have gone anywhere, that one. What a beautiful delivery from Hatzelglue. One more leg of the multi. Sam Billings. 10+ runs. When will he get to the crease? 2 for 53, 8 overs gone. It's been great bowling from the Hurricanes so far. I've been trying to find... It shouldn't be this difficult to find. It really shouldn't be. The Big Bash odds. Big Bash Futures. It takes me to the games just fine. But I am particularly interested in the futures. Now, maybe the futures market, potentially the futures market is suspended at the moment because there's a game going on. That could very well be the case, as Warner could not resist that temptation from Stanlake, who puts a full delivery right in the slot, but he can't beat the man out at deep mid wicket. Just the one run. Oh, and he's frustrated because he knows he left that one out there. David Warner is furious with himself at that one. Davies turns it away to the offside. Just the one. The man at cover there shuts it down before it gets too far outside the circle. And, geez, Ollie. Save that for the home, mate. We don't want to see that. Stanlake in again. Slower ball. Davies just punches it to the man at mid-off. No run. Two for 55. And they've just struggled really to get a move along here. The Thunder, that run rate has maintained itself around 6.5. That's pretty much where it's been this whole time since the start of the innings. Very slow going. But it's been great bowling from the Hurricanes. Good start to the multi. The wicket takers are down. Warner's got his 10 runs. Nice delivery again from Stanlake, right on target. And Davies can just guide this one to the offside. Another single. 2 for 57. I just had a feeling about sixes tonight. I usually put in my multis 2 wicket takers and 2 players to hit a 6. I've switched up the sixes tonight for 10 plus run scorers. Just a feeling. 2 for 58. 9 overs gone. Another good one from Stanlake. Just singles and dot balls from it. And that run rate hanging around 6.5. They've kept things well under control here, the Hurricanes. It's interesting because we have been talking about them as kind of not necessarily favourites for the competition, but certainly red-hot chances for the competition. They are performing very well once again. Ellis back into the attack to bowl his second over. Warner pushes to the offside, just a single. Do they call the power surge immediately? We've seen that it's worked out quite well, calling the surge early. And they do need to swing the momentum here, the Thunder. A full straight delivery from Ellis. Davies drives it back down the ground. Jordan's there at long on. Just the one run. 2 for 60. And they've got to get a move along here. Warner runs the first one hard, looks for 2. And they come back for 2. That's well run. The running has improved with Davies out there. Jilks just was never interested in those 2s. And that'll swing some momentum, right? You know, turning those 1s into 2s. Warner goes to 39 off 33. I think they call the power surge straight away. As soon as it's available to them, Warner pushing hard again, looking for a 2. They can't get it this time. Well fielded. Keeps it down to just 1. Two for 63. Warner's on 40 of 34 balls. Has set himself up very nicely for another big innings, David Warner. Ellis bangs it in short. Davies reaches all the way outside off stump, pulls it around to the onside. Just the 1. And this is very slow going for the Thunder. They're just struggling here to get to the pace of the ball. One ball left here for Ellis. None for 12. Off his 1.5 so far. Slower ball. Right on middle stump. Warner's able to just paddle it away for a single. And that is the 10th over. Done and dusted. Halfway through this innings for the Thunder. It's 2 for 65. The Hurricanes bowling extremely well, keeping a lid on things. That run rate's been around 6.5 the entire innings, basically. So they've really kept it under wraps. Haven't let the Thunder get away. Look, I think the Thunder need to call the power surge immediately. They've got to swing some momentum back in their favor. They haven't really looked threatening at any point. And it could be time to put the gas down, put the foot on the gas. Lockie Mac, ahoy there. How are you, mate? They've got to go for it. The Sydney Thunder, but that is just me. That's just my opinion. That is my style of coaching. My style of play is never die wondering. Yes, indeed, we are at the business end of the season, and it's pretty much must-win now for everybody, really. It's really, at that point, a loss for anybody at this stage. No tall Paul in the squad at all. They must have got my letters. Letters. Who sends letters anymore? Oh, God, I've got to switch the channel. Poor Paul Tall. I mean, he seems like a great bloke, but you got to be fierce. There is no time for friendliness. It's all about winning. Charlie V, ahoy there. All right, 2 for 65. No call for the power surge. I find this absolutely bewildering. Absolutely bewildering that they have not called the surge here. Maybe they're just giving Ollie Davies 1 or 2 more sighters. As I said, I would have called it straight away. And Jordan starts with a dot ball. Warner goes reaching for this one outside off stump. Comes up with nothing but air. You know what's going to bloody happen, though? Bloody Chris Lynn will be a nightmare scenario for the Brisbane Heat. You can just feel it. Same ball, different result. Warner gets hold of this one. Well fielded in the outfield. And they come back for two. Oh. Inactivity detected. Come on, TikTok. How can I be inactive when the stream is live? I've never quite understood that about the TikTok studio. Inactivity detected. Anyway, Jordan in again, full ball. On off stump, right on the crease. Warner guides it onto the offside, out to point. Just the one run. NRL Super King, ahoy, welcome back. As the Sydney Thunder still just plodding along here, slowly but surely. Wickets are in the dugout, though, importantly for them. Just the two down. Jordan to Davies, bangs it in short. Over the head of Davies. Davies glaring at the umpires. No call of wide. They've just said, that's one, mate. One. Above shoulder height. That's fair enough. That was a good ball. Well bowled. And that's been the case here, the Hurricanes. Every single bowler has just been on point. Again, Jordan. Unlucky there because it's an inside edge racing away to the long leg boundary. It's cut off and they'll come back for 2 runs. But it was well bowled by Jordan. That deserved a dot. But that's the nature of cricket, right? Sometimes it's just unlucky. Oh, Jason Hayden. Ahoy, mate. How are you? Final ball here for Chris Jordan. 1 for 9 off his 1.5 so far. Another slower ball. And this time it's been pulled away. Out to deep square leg. Rockets into the fence. Davies got every little piece of that one. And a big boundary. They needed that. And they need more of them. The Sydney Thunder 2 for 74 after 11. Power surge time? Perhaps. They need to get 190 plus to win this. Well, they certainly need more than what they're getting at the moment. Absolutely. The Hans, ahoy, mate. Johnny Boy, ahoy there. My commentary is ahead of the KO coverage, is it? Reverse sweep here from Warner. Beats Matthew Wade. It's going to race all the way to the boundary, is it? Yes, it... Oh, well saved out there. Is that Riley Meredith? Diving and saving a certain boundary. Oh, that's Billy Stanlake. Big Billy Stanlake. What a chase down there at fine leg. Has he saved it? Yes, he has. That is an amazing effort from the big fella. Getting those big giraffe legs pumping. What a fantastic effort. Jason Hayden's got Warner to get 50 plus. Well, he's on his way. Oh, God. Who was it? Was it you, Jason? Somebody had Was it somebody had David Warner to get 50 plus one of the other games and he got out for 49? Was that David Warner? They come back, push hard for 2 here. Well run. This has been a good start to the over for the Thunder. 3 buys and now pushing hard for a 2. Axelglue in again. Davies steps back, rocks onto the back foot, punches it to mid-off for no run. 2 for 79. Axelglue flights this one up. Davies gets down on the knee. Sweeps it away. There's a man on the boundary out there, though. Just the single prediction for Australia versus Sri Lanka. How many tests are there? 2. I reckon Australia wins 2-0. Warner lifts this one up in the air, but there's nobody there inside the circle at point. They come through for a single. Axelglue in again, his last ball. Davies cuts it away. Can't beat the man in the circle. Can't get it through cover. Dot ball to finish. It's 2 for 81. Okay, the Thunder have got to call the power surge now, surely. They're not surely waiting for the surge for the very end. They've got to go for it. I was right about it turning the game for the Brisbane Heat the other night. It turned the game for the Melbourne Stars the other night. They've got to seriously consider taking it. You've got a set batsman in David Warner. You've got Ollie Davies, who has well and truly got his eye in now, surely. Adrian, not going to lie, but SA20 is better. Now, can I ask, is SA20, because I just saw SA20 in the betting markets, but I wasn't sure what it was. Is that the South African T20 series? I'm actually keen to check that out. And I'm also very keen to check out the New Zealand T20 competition that's going on at the moment as well. What's that one called? Super Smash? Billy Stanley back into the bowling attack. A slower ball. Davies scoops it up in the air. Stanley gets under it, and it's a caught and bowled. Should have called the power surge, because now they've got a fresh batsman at the crease. Davies goes for 17. And it's 3 for 82. And Davies, a slower ball has fooled him, and he looks to chip it away on the leg side. And Billy Stanley, the big giraffe, runs back, takes the catch off his own bowling. Ollie Davies is on his way, 17 off 17. And I just cannot for the life of me understand why they haven't taken the power surge. Aiden, who is winning. The Hobart Hurricanes are well on top at the moment. Oh, Defunct, Michelle's moved over to TikTok now. But I will pass the message along that Defunct says, hey. Yes, the Hobart Hurricanes well on top at the moment. Sam Billings comes to the crease. Michelle says ahoy defunk. Stanlake into Billings. I need Billings for 10 plus. Rousey, ahoy there. Thank you very much for the follow as well. Billings is off the mark. All right, Billings. 9 more to go, mate. 9 more to go. And then I get this multi across the line. Stanlake, slower ball, outside off stump. Warner swings and misses. 46 or 42. Jason Hayden just needs 50 plus for David Warner. Three for 83. Can Warner get to the 50? Or is Jason Hayden going to absolutely hate him? Oh, see what I did there? Beautiful work. Oh, Warner gets the leading edge, but it falls safely. And he moves to 47 of 43 deliveries now. Billings back on strike. Now that I've made that joke, I bet it's my guy Billings who gets out for 9. Guaranteed. Three for 84. 1 ball left here for Stanlake. Oh, draws the edge. A big appeal for LBW, but it's a mile over leg stump. The umpire wasn't interested. We'll see if it's called a leg by. I thought it was an inside edge. 3 for 85. It is a leg by. There you go. That's why the LBW shout was so large, but definitely going over the top of leg stump there. 3 for 85. All right, they've got to call. Well, the problem is they've got a fresh batsman at the crease now, but really, they've got to call the power surge. I don't see the value in leaving the surge till the very back end of the innings. Here's a replay now of that LBW shout. It's actually a little closer than I thought it was. Much closer than I thought it was. Stanlake was very interested. Hatzelglue onto ball now to Billings. We need Billings for 10 plus. He dances down the pitch and lifts it away to the leg side. They come back for 2. All the way out to the fence there at square leg. 3 for 87. Billings moves to 3. Max, ahoy there, mate. Konstas got out for 4. Billings retains the strike. Hatzelglue goes the reverse. Swings and misses. And he cops it on the chest. A dot ball. Oh, Billings. Don't do that to me, mate. Sam Billings is the last leg of my multi. I've got Meredith for a wicket. Jordan for a wicket. Warner for 10 plus. Billings for 10 plus. Don't be doing bloody reverse sweeps. Well, that's better. Pulls this one away. 1 bouncing over the rope for 4. Billings. Well, it wasn't so much a pull. It was kind of a half-hearted. It was a half sweep. But whatever it was, he has just ripped this one away. Out to the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. Moves to 7 or 5. Hatzelglue in again. Reverse sweep, top-edged. Will it go over the circle? It does. It beats Meredith and races away for 4. Billings has got to 10. Sam Billings moves to 11. And it is the final tick off the multi. Have yourself a beer there, Billings. Oh, it feels good when you see all 4 legs of a multi ticked off. Glad I won the bet because I need to buy a new phone. That was my phone falling off the... Oh, no, it's all good. It didn't break. Billings goes the reverse again. Wow. 6 overs remaining and the multi's ticked off. Swing and a miss this time from Billings. Well, he's certainly not going to go down wondering. Darwin B, ahoy mate. The double header tomorrow. Any suggestions? I probably do. But I'm quite focused on this game at the moment. So I won't go too in-depth. But the Sydney Sixers versus the Scorchers, right? Oh, flip a coin. Flip a coin on that one, right? And Adelaide Strikers, Brisbane Heat is kind of a coin toss as well. The Adelaide Strikers are the slight favourites with the bookmakers at the moment. But as was mentioned in the chat room earlier, Brisbane Heat do seem to play well in Adelaide. So I might just lean towards the Brisbane Heat for that one. And the Sydney Sixers, Perth Scorchers, wow. Oh, I think the Perth Scorchers, this could be their season on the line. They need to win. They have to win. So they'll be the more desperate of the 2 teams. The Sydney Sixers, though, they won't want to go back-to-back losses. They might not have the same level of desperation in terms of it's not a must-win for them, but obviously they will want to win. They will not want to go down with back-to-back losses. So, geez. Those are a couple of really, really good games coming up tomorrow. DeHons says... Every game's a coin toss this season. I feel like any team can win it. I'll drink to that, mate. Absolutely. This has been the most exciting. I was just talking to the old Panther earlier today, actually. And I said I wasn't expecting to enjoy the BBL as much as I have been. I wasn't expecting it to go as well as it has, like in terms of the TikTok streams. And I also wasn't expecting to enjoy the games as much as I have. I thought that I would just do 1 or 2 and then maybe just the Brisbane Heat games after that. But I've been enjoying it so much. There have been so many absolute bangers of contests. And Michelle, yes, they do have to take the power surge. It's mandatory if they don't call it themselves. If they don't call it themselves, it just automatically happens for the 19th and 20th overs. As now overthrows, 4 of them. This is very costly for the Hurricanes. 4 overthrows. Oh, and he's hurt himself. Ellis has dived to try and save the 4 overthrows. Potentially he's wiped out the cameraman. At the very least, he's hit either the signage or something, but there is a lot of concern around Nathan Ellis, I think it is, out there. Put his body on the line, quite literally, to try and save the 4 overthrows. He's tried to save his team, a lot of embarrassment, and he has completely wiped himself out into the fence. Oh, bang! Straight into the chair of the cameraman. Somehow the cameraman stayed on his feet. Geez, we've seen some injuries this year as well. Well, this season. Oh, wow. We've seen players clashing with each other. We've seen shoulders getting popped out with dives on the fence. We've seen seagulls get killed. And now there's a lot of concern here for Nathan Ellis. They are holding his neck and head very, very still because he has just gone headfirst into the signage. He has slid headfirst into the signage and he is down. And he's talking to the trainers there, and I just saw movement in the left arm, and the trainer immediately pushed his arm down and said, "Don't move, mate. We're sorting you out." But he's dived to try and save 4 overthrows, and he has gone headfirst into the sign. He's up. He is sitting upright. He is sitting upright, which is very good to see. It means any concern about a neck injury has become very minor now. And he's up on his feet. He's standing up. But that is possibly his night done. That is probably his night done. Putting his body on the line, quite literally there on the boundary, head first into the fence. But good to see him up. He's walking off under his own power. He looks a little confused. He does look quite confused right about now, but he's up and about. That's the main thing. FBI! Oh, it wasn't me. Whatever it wasn't me. But ahoy there, FBI, and welcome along. Down he goes to get some further treatment. Nathan Ellis, that's possibly the last we'll see of him tonight. But boy, we've seen some injuries in BBL 14. It is very unusual, in my opinion, that you see this many injuries in a cricket tournament. Well, 6 runs off that. The 2 runs that the batsman ran and the 4 overthrows. Hals, ahoy there. Welcome along. So, let's recompose ourselves here. Riley Meredith has got 2 balls left. It's 3 for 104 here, the Thunder. Billings tries to turn this down the leg side. Misses. It's called a wide. Everyone just needs to reset here and reload after that little stoppage. David Warner's on 49 down the non-striker's end. That's got to be frustrating there for Jason. Jason Hayden in the chat room has got David Warner for 50 plus. I've already got my 4 legs of the multi ticked off. Meredith bangs this one in short. Billings lets it go through to the keeper. FBI, thank you very much for the follow. Keeping an eye on me, are you? I knew the FBI was watching. I've always said that. Billings rocks onto the back foot, cuts this one away. Through point for 4. That's a good shot. 15 overs gone. 3 for 109. Wasted World of Sports, live on TikTok, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitch in 2025, bringing you alternative commentary of the Big Bash of the NRL Super Rugby. The Six Nations are coming up as well. And just for a little bit of fun, we'll also be covering the WWE Royal Rumble. Chaudhry into the bowling attack now. This is interesting because Chaudhry probably would have got an over or two, to be honest. I'm just wondering now, somebody has got to bowl Nathan Ellis's overs. As Warner cuts it away for one run, and he brings up his 50. And Jason breathes a big sigh of relief. Because, boy, did he make us wait. He made us wait during the 40s there. Big time, didn't he? It felt like a very long time between 40 and 50. Rosso. Or Rosso. Either one of those pronunciations. Warner is going well this year. Warner's going very well this year, isn't he? Billings lifts this one square of the wicket. On the leg side, one bounce over the rope for 4. And Sam Billings is on fire. 26 off 13. And they still haven't called the power surge as far as I'm aware. Unless I was quite distracted and missed it. They might call it after this over. Chaudhry in again. Billings goes for the same shot. Down on one knee. Sweeps it away. But this time, deep square leg and deep mid-wicket converge. Depends on the excitement levels, UFC. Clean bowled him. Billings is on his way. Chaudhry with the breakthrough. And Billings is gone. Clean bowled. 4 for 116. That's a big wicket because now, once again, a fresh batsman at the crease. Right on the brink of a power surge. Which they should have called. They should have called it. Four for 116, and this game now well and truly in favour of the Hurricanes. The Thunder will be very heavily relying on David Warner for the power surge. Beautifully bowled from Chaudhry. It didn't turn, it just went straight on. And it takes off stump. Up the NRL says, did he hit a 6? No, he didn't. The very one and the same UFC, David Warner, Sandpaper Warner. Chris Green out to the crease now, the Bondi vet. Off the mark straight away, punching it down to long off. 4 for 117. 15.5 gone. The run rate's lifted up to 7.39. Warner turns it away off the hips. Just one. Four for 118. 16 overs gone. But it is the home side. The Hurricanes well on top here. David Warner, didn't he have a good bowl at some point? I don't believe David Warner has ever bowled. No. You might be thinking of his partner in crime. His partner in crime with the whole sandpaper gate. As the power surge is called. The power surge has finally been called. Power surge activated. But yes, his partner in crime over sandpaper gate, Steve Smith, used to bowl quite a few overs back in the day. Power surge has been called. David Warner's on strike. And he will go from ball number 1. Chris Jordan with the task of bowling to him. Wide outside off stump, cut away. But there's protection out there. Protection out there in the covers. And it's just the single. Chris Green on strike. Not the result that they wanted there, the Thunder. It's all good, UFC. It's I find that you don't have to be into cricket to appreciate just oh, that's a nice. Well, he didn't get hold of it, Chris Green. I was going to say it was a nice drive down the ground, but no, he didn't get hold of that at all. Not looking good for the Thunder, says Harrison. Skeptics, Warner, only 2 boundaries. It's nuts. The lack of boundaries in this whole innings has been quite bizarre, quite frankly. Warner banks it straight down the ground. It's racing over this outfield and a very ambitious slide to try and save the 4. Did he not see what just happened to his mate? That was very brave. After seeing Nathan Ellis go headfirst into the signage, the fielder here for the Hurricanes was very brave. Tim David diving towards the sign. We still haven't had an update on Nathan Ellis. I'm sure it's just a precautionary thing to take him off the field. Outside edge through the vacant slip cordon. And that's 4 runs. Unlucky there for Chris Jordan. Oh, UFC, you were thinking about Shane Warne. I see. Well, cheers to Warnie, wherever he may be. How did you get those 2 confused, UFC? Two balls left here in the opening power surge. It's been a good one for the Thunder. 10 runs from it. And a dot ball. Warner thumps this one back on the hop to Jordan. A good start for the surge here, the Thunder. They need a lot more of this, though. 4 for 128. That run rate getting up towards 8 and over now. That's what they want, 8 or beyond. Jordan to Warner. Warner can't beat the man at mid-off. And they run through for a single. A good finish to the over for Jordan, but still a good over for the Sydney Thunder. 4 for 129. 17 overs gone. 1 power surge over done. 1 to go. Harrison asked my thoughts on the test squad. I think it's good that I think it's a good mix of old and new, right? Like, one of my criticisms of Australian cricket for the longest time has been that Australia never seems to really build for the future. They get themselves into a situation where they get a really good solid, almost unbeatable team, which is great. But the problem is they become so good and so unbeatable that they never seem to replace them. And what happens when guys retire, they haven't really thought about what's going to happen next. I think this selection of the squad for the Sri Lankan tour is a little bit of forethought for what's happening next. What's to come? The future of Australian cricket. What's it going to be? Well, here's an update on Ellis. He's bowling. So there's your update. He's bowling the second over of the power surge. And he starts with a 2 down the ground. And he's been hooked away for 2 here. Warner moves to 63, or 65 now, or 54. And Ellis, he must be okay, because here he is, back on the field. And it looks like he's going to bowl out the rest of his overs. Well, I tell you what, he snuck onto the field without really being noticed. Well, that's very good to see indeed. Ellis in again. Warner charges him, cuts it away. There is protection out there at cover. And they come back for another 2. 6 runs off this over so far. But a big lack of boundaries overall. Been very slow going for the Thunder, but 4 for 135. I mean, we always talk about 140 as a minimum for at least having something to bowl at, as David Warner steps back in the crease, rocks onto the back foot, and just hammers this back down the ground over the head of mid-on for 4. Stand and deliver, David Warner. Trying to get things moving along here. 71 or 56. Nice reply, though, from Ellis. A fuller ball. Outside off stump. Warner can't get it through the circle. David Warner, the leading run scorer in BBL 14. There you go. I mean, that's just a signal of how well he's been travelling. Green on strike. The last ball of the power surge. And he hits it straight to the man at mid-wicket. They come through for the single. Take him on. A pretty good surge, though, from the Thunder. And they've at least now got something to bowl at. It might not be the greatest score in the world, but it's at least something to bowl at. 4 for 141, 18 overs gone. The Hurricanes, though, would still be heavy favourites to chase this one down. They need a big couple of overs here at the end. Oh, Ben McDermott's off. Ben McDermott has hurt himself. Well, there already goes my next innings multi. Ben McDermott leaving the field. .1 overs gone. And I'm not surprised by this at all. 1 over behind the Hobart. I'm actually surprised it's only 1 over that they're behind. I talked about it earlier. They were going very slow. Green rocks onto the back foot, gives himself some space. Lifts it over the infield, square of the wicket on the leg side for 2. Ball for 145. They are going to end up with a defendable total here. The Thunder. They've done well to pick up the pace a little bit. Look, it still won't be necessarily enough, in my opinion, but they've at least got themselves something to bowl at here as Green flat bats this back down the ground. To the man at long on, just a single. Ball for 146. 9 balls left. You would expect at least 1 a ball in the final 2 overs. 155. If they can pinch a couple of twos or a boundary, 160, and you just never know. You just never know. So they've recovered nicely here. All things considering. 3 balls left here for Meredith. Slower ball, outside off. Warner chops at it. It's a big air swing. Well bowled. Racing back to his mark, trying to make up this time, but I don't think they're going to be able to. And of course, what happens when you're behind your over rate, it means an extra fielder inside the circle for the final over. Warner steps across the crease. Lifts it out to square leg. Just the one. Good bowling here for Meredith. David Warner, 73 from 59. Short ball, Green lifts it up in the air, skies it, and Ellis is perfectly okay. Plants himself under this one and takes the catch. Meredith gets his second. It's 5 for 147. Well, they had to start swinging at everything here. The Thunder. Had to go for it. Chris Green goes for 8. The Bondi vet. It's 5 for 147. The Horseman asks, has anyone muddled one tonight? And Teddy Boy asks who I go for. I go for the Brisbane Heat, but in this game, I tipped the Hobart Hurricanes. Middled one, which makes a lot more sense. I jumped to Teddy Boy's question first because I was processing in my own mind. How do I answer that question? Has anyone middled one tonight? Yes, Sam Billings. Didn't middle it enough to get a 6, but Sam Billings has produced the cleanest hitting tonight. He just didn't stay out there for long enough. It's been very hard going here for the Thunder batsmen, but that's been on the back of some good bowling. Like really good bowling from the Hurricanes. Taking the pace off the ball, making it very hard to get away. And Ellis, even here, Ellis starts the final over with a dot ball. David Warner on strike. Now that's way too wide, outside off. Way, way wide. And he'll have to bowl that one again. For such a quick outfield, and the outfield is really quick. Not just for the ball, but for human beings as well, as Nathan Ellis found out. I would have expected a lot more boundaries. and a bigger score. I mean, we were as this is a full toss. Warner gets under it, lifts it over the top of the keeper's head, and won't before it just sort of bangs into the turf there. And is this going to be called a no ball? Was it above waist height? David Warner, not a big man. It does seem to have dipped under the hips, though. We were talking in the chat room before the game started about the potential of something in the lines of 190. Like this Sydney Thunder batting lineup. Could they even push 200? Well, no, they can't. They come back for 2, and that's a run out. David Warner's on his way. Or is that Dan Christian? Dan Christian, sorry, running to the danger end. And Dan Christian is out without facing a ball. How about that? Run out for a duck without facing a ball. Out by a long, long way. They had to go for it, I suppose. They've got to try and eke out as many runs as possible. A diamond duck. Yes. The golden duck, of course, is when you get out to the first ball that you face. A diamond duck when you don't even get to face one. You don't see very many of them. Garton out to the crease. George Garton will be down the non-striker's end. 6 for 151, 3 balls left. David Warner on strike. Full toss again, and David Warner smashes it away. 1 bounce over the rope for 4. He still didn't get hold of it. It was still not out of the middle of the bat. 1 bounce over the rope. Jeez, this could be a no ball. Will they have a closer look at this? Warner rocks back in the crease. This time Ellis bangs it in short. Warner tries to slash it away on the offside. It's been dropped on the circle. They come back for 2. Frog, the married man. Ahoy there. So am I ghosted. David Warner's been dropped here. Comes back for 2. 6 for 158. Ellis with 2 balls left. A slower ball. Goes again onto the offside. Warner beats the circle. And it's out to the fence for 4. Well, these are some valuable runs from David Warner and the Sydney Thunder. 6 for 162. David Warner again, the pick of the Thunder batsman. Final ball of the spell, final ball of the innings. Ellis to Warner, right in the zone, right in the slot, but there is protection back there at long on, and they come back for 2 runs. And the Sydney Thunder finish this at 6 for 164. Something to bowl at least. Very curious to know what's up with Ben McDermott. We saw him leave the field. He is crucial to my multi. Ben McDermott is part of my multi for the next inning, so hopefully he's all right. David Warner carries the bat. So we've seen a diamond duck, and we've seen a carry of the bat. I mean, those are 2 polar opposites, and we've seen them both. 6 for 164, the Thunder. At least something to bowl at here. It'll be a very interesting run chase. .88, David Warner of 66 balls. Batted all the way through. Another solid performance. So, what do we reckon? Can they chase this down? We'll find out after the innings break. 6 for 1, 6 4. We'll be back on the Western Motorsports here for the run chase. Coming up after this. I'll get my second half of the multi up on the screen, but hopefully Ben McDermott's okay. He didn't look good when he went off, but hopefully he'll be okay because he is going to play a crucial role coming up in the run chase. I need him for 10 plus, so I'll get all that set up, and then we'll be back here for the run chase. Can the Hurricanes keep the momentum going? I feel like the Thunder might go into the innings break here. Just a little bit. I wouldn't say on top. Definitely wouldn't say on top. But they'll be feeling like they can potentially defend this total. But we'll find out after this. Thanks for being with us so far on the Western World of Sports. All right, so what does this mean for the tournament? Well, nothing at the moment because nobody's won or lost. But this, of course, is a battle for top spot. The winner of this match will be top of the table. And I'm going to try and get myself an update here on Ben McDermott. We very much need him to be okay. I mean, not just for our multi, but for his sake as well. We want him to be okay, obviously. But for the time being, let's just... Whoops. Okay, I can't... What? Not allowed to do that? Copy this over the top. I'll just copy this over the top and see if it updates with the rest of the multi. This, of course, is only really relevant for YouTube. There we go. Oh, that's done the job. That's done the trick. Very nice. Okay, so now I need to just chuck on there. And I didn't realize I can actually do that beforehand as well. All right, so for this run chase, here's what I need. I need Aussie Mozzie, ahoy there, mate. How have you been? Okay, I need Mitch Owen. Who's first there? Green. All right, so I've done the wickets first. All right. Chris Green for a wicket. And Wes Agar for a wicket. Wes Agar. Wes Agar wicket. He let us down the other night, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen back to back. Now, run scorers, I've got Mitch Owen. Mitch Owen, 10 plus runs. And Ben McDermott, 10 plus runs. But we've got to keep an eye on Ben McDermott because he did leave the field clutching at his hamstring whilst the Hurricanes were bowling. So hopefully he's able to participate. I mean, first and foremost, hopefully he's okay for his own sake, but hopefully he's able to take the field for the multi sake as well. Noah, ahoy there, mate. Welcome along. What do I think of David Warner not participating in the interview? I tell you what, I noticed that because it was the innings break, I was having a quick break myself. But I did notice as I was walking off, David Warner seemed really reluctant. He turned his head away from Erin Holland as she was trying to run him down to have an interview, and he turned his head away and ignored her. She finally did get hold of him, but yeah, I understand David Warner, he got 88 from 66, but he was very frustrated still with his innings. Probably feels like he could have done a bit more. So I understand his frustrations, but I mean, she's there to do her job just the same as he's there to do his job. And part of his job is acknowledging the media, whether he likes it or not. So to just turn his head and try his best to ignore her, I think is pretty poor form. Anyway, can you suggest a leg for the multi? Yeah, I mean, certainly Matthew Wade to get less than 10 runs. Matthew Wade to get less than 10 runs. I had already placed mine. I placed my 4 legs before the game had even started, so we got the first 4 legs. We got the 4 legs during the Hurricanes bowling innings, which was nice. Can we finish it off with the 4 now? As the Hurricanes try and chase down these runs, and theoretically probably should do it quite comfortably. So Green and Agar for wickets, Owen and McDermott for 10 plus runs, but we'll see what happens. I mean, that whole thing might get voided depending on what happens with Ben McDermott there during the innings break. As I said, he did go off the field clutching his hamstring. Didn't seem like he was in a very good way. So hopefully he'll be okay and can press on and get into the second innings. Aussie Mozzie, eh? Wow, I'm fairly certain, Aussie Mozzie, you were one of the OGs. One of the originals over there on the Waste of Water Sports YouTube. How far we've come, sir. From back in the day. $165 to win. The run chase is coming up. Can they track it down? Looking to move to the top of the table. Oh, God, I shouldn't laugh at that. Yeah, police officer. I don't know. I just heard the news in the background, and it's like police officer shot with his own gun. And I have pictures of pictures in my mind of like a police academy movie or something. Anyway. Counting down here for the run chase. 165 needed for the Hurricanes. Let's check out the latest in the betting markets. Because I would say the Hurricanes let it slip a little bit towards the end. I reckon it's closed up. But they would still be understandably favourites at this particular point in time, I would guess. And yes, indeed. So it has closed up a little bit. The Hurricanes, $1.65. The Thunder, $2.20. I think that's pretty fair for where things are at in the context of this match. A couple of early wickets, and suddenly, like we've seen it happen, right? We've seen it happen time and time again. A couple of quick wickets, and it all just turns on its head. I tipped the Hurricanes, so obviously I'll be cheering them on. Chase down the runs. But Ben McDermott is a real concern. Very selfishly, he's part of my multi. So we obviously want him to be... We want him to be all good. I wouldn't mind seeing the Hurricanes win, to be perfectly honest. The whole thing. Not just tonight's match. I just mean the whole BBL 14. The Hurricanes have been so close on so many occasions. I think they're probably deserving of a win. I've got no reason to be against them in any way, so I wouldn't mind seeing it. Now, somebody said in the chat room earlier that there's a lot of rain expected in Sydney. A lot of rain, apparently. Now, is that rain... Sydney's a big place, right? So, is that rain around the stadium? The Sydney Sixers and the Perth Scorchers. Here we go. Bring it on. Simon, number one goat, says should be a good chase. Kozar, ahoy, mate. Of course, I remember you. I will never, ever forget a name like Kozar. Because it reminds me of Costa, the chef. So I will always remember that. Now a big call here for the Thunder. Mohammad Hussain to open the bowling. This is a bold call. A big call. Will it pay dividends? 165 needed to win. And a wide first up down the leg side. How many times do we see it? Seriously, how many times do we see it? A wide down the leg side to start. Oh, this hasn't updated yet. Oh, there we go. Matthew Wade and Mitch Owen. I've got Owen for 10 plus. And oh, that's just over the head of the man at backward point. It was a tough chance, but a chance nonetheless. It was into the hands, but it popped straight through and out the other end. And Owen is given a lifeline. My multi has been given a lifeline. Painfully close. This time Owen lifts it off the pads. One bounce over the rope for 4 runs. A beautiful shot. And he's going to take full advantage of that lifeline he was given, it would seem. A glorious shot, that one from Mitch Owen. None for 7. 2 legal deliveries have been bowled. This is a good start. It goes again, Owen. This is high in the sky. Does it have enough to go over the rope? By God, it does. That is a huge 6, and we just did not see this from the Sydney Thunder innings. Owen has just lifted this one over the lakeside fence, into the stands, almost into the upper tier, 85 metres, none for 13. It was a risk to start with the spin, and Owen's moved to 12. That's already a tick off the multi for me. And a dot ball, a much-needed one, but they almost give away overthrows. I follow back, 5493, ahoy mate. Welcome back again. Hasnain, none for 13 of 0.4. And it's Owen doing the damage, 12 or 4. Goes again, Owen. Square on the leg side, but there's protection out there. Jilks cuts it off and fires it back in. Just a single. Owen will retain the strike. Oh, no, there's one ball to go because of the wide. There was a wide first ball. Matthew Wade on strike. David Warner is not participating here in the field. What a start it's been for Mitch Owen. Can Wade chime in as well? Cuts this one away. Beats the man in the circle. There is protection out there at point, and just the single. None for 14 after the first over. Hasnain has been absolutely tonked. I thought it was a bold call, but they've gone with it. And he got absolutely taken to task. None for 15 is the perfect start for the Hurricanes. Chewing off a big chunk of that chase already. And a 6 in the first over. A good clean hit from Mitch Owen. Oh, here's an update. Ben McDermott. Ah. He should be able to come back. Okay, there we go. Ben McDermott should be able to come back. There was just a complaint. A hamstring complaint. But he hasn't pulled it. Just a little bit of tightness in the hammy. He should be right to come back. And may be eligible for a runner as Garton starts with a wide down the leg side. Once again, how many times do we see it? How often does this happen? Wide down the leg side for a first delivery. The bowler's just not getting it right. It's really incredible the amount of first ball of an over wides that we've seen in BBL 14. Wade just has a little prod at this one, outside off. Nothing but air. And a dot ball. But a very good start here to the run chase for the home side. 7.84 is the required rate. They're going along much nicer than that at the moment. 16 off the first over, or 15 off the first over. Now wide, and Matthew Wade pulls this away with authority into the upper deck. It might be on the roof. I think he has actually hit it out of the ground. Matthew Wade just rocks onto the back foot and pulls this onto the roof, if not out of the entire stadium. It's on the roof. It's gone. It is on the roof. 96 meters onto the roof. And the Hurricanes are hitting the leather off the ball. The Sydney Thunder were not able to middle a single hit. And the Hurricanes have started with two. One each for Owen and Wade. Jimmy Ricker says that won't be back. Certainly won't be. The box of balls are out with the umpires. And they're picking a new one out as we speak. Matthew Wade has sent it packing onto the roof of Ninja Stadium. What a hit. None for 22. 1.2 overs gone. Geez, they could make very light work of this chase. David Warner doesn't seem too happy about that ball replacement. Garton in again, full toss, and Wade scoops him away on the leg side for another six. Back-to-back sixes. Matthew Wade moves to 12. Well, the Sydney Thunder made batting look so difficult. The Hurricanes are making it look so easy at the moment. None for 28 after 1.3 overs. It's been night and day. The difference between the approach to batting, or perhaps just the approach to bowling. We saw a lot of off-pace deliveries. Full of ball, Gutton, full on the pads. No choice there for the umpire but to raise the hand, raise the finger. He's gone. Considering a review here, are they looking at his bat? Nope, nothing there. Matthew Wade walks. Gutton. What a response to the back-to-back sixes. A full ball. Not entirely sure what Wade was trying to do there. Looking to glance it away on the leg side. Misses it, and it hits him on the toe right in front of middle stump. A big appeal from Gutton. And he's on his way. What a response. He's just been tonked for back-to-back sixes. That is the ultimate response for a bowler. Plum LBW. Matthew Wade goes for 13. That's the breakthrough they needed. 1 for 28. Defending 164. They're going to need wickets. And that was a big one. Charlie Wakim out to the crease. Some very unfamiliar names out there tonight. Yes, Benny McDermott had some tightness in his hamstring. The reports suggest that he will bat, but he will have a runner. He'll bat if it's required. But he will obviously have the need for a runner. Not a fan of the runner, no, but it does sometimes lead to some hilarious moments. That's a beautiful shot from Waqar. Well, he starts well. Through the covers for 4. Beautiful shot right out of the middle. And that's been the difference between the two teams at the moment. The Hurricanes are finding the middle of the bat. The Thunder just never did. He's on debut, is he? Well, there you go. Whack him. Whack him. And what a start it was. Boom, straight through the covers. 1 for 32 of 2 overs here. And Wes Agar, who let us down on the multi just the other night. Can he get it done tonight? Owen puts it straight down the throat of mid-on. And Wes Agar, well, he failed us the other night. He has come through first ball tonight. And we are well on our way to this multi. Well on the way. We got all 4 in the first innings. And we're already halfway through this innings. 2 down, 2 to go. Caleb Maskell says Warner left it to the last minute. Yeah, David Warner went too slow for too long tonight. Too slow for too long. I feel like they also left the power surge too late. 2 for 32, though. They're picking up wickets. And that's crucial here for the Sydney Thunder, to state the obvious. The Hurricanes still well above the rate as Chaudhry out to the crease now to join Waqar. Two fresh batsmen at the crease. Agar to Chaudhry, guides it down to the offside for a single. Two for 33. This game is now very delicately poised again. I'd say the Hurricanes slightly ahead, but it's definitely evening up. It is certainly evening up. Let's see if the bookies agree with me. Agar. And again, slower ball. Excuse me. Well, the bookies don't quite agree with me yet. Either that or they haven't updated their odds. But they're not quite on board with me just yet. The Hurricanes are still very low-priced favourites. I think it's a bit closer than that. Two for 33. Agar. In again. Shorter pitched ball. Waqar turns it off the hips for no run. So I need Chris Green, the Bondi vet, and for a wicket, and Ben McDermott, should he bat, to get 10 runs. Very unfortunate for those of us with Ben McDermott in the multi to see him injured. Lofted through the covers for 4. Waqar, he's not going to die wondering. A dangerous shot, but he picked the gap perfectly. Very uppishly played, just out of reach. And through the covers. Nice shot. A little bit of a risk, but very high reward for it. And they are keeping this run rate up here, the Hurricanes. Raw! Who do I think wins? I'm still leaning towards the Hurricanes here. I've tipped the Hurricanes from the start. And despite the early wickets, they're almost essentially 3 down. Because Ben McDermott, if he needs a runner, he's not going to be able to bat the way that he normally does, basically, is what I'm trying to say. If he's affected enough by this hamstring injury that he needs a runner, I don't understand how he's going to be able to have the foot movement to play his natural shot selections. So let's say they're 2.5 down, but they're effectively 3 down. I don't know how much McDermott will be able to contribute. But despite that, I do have the Hurricanes slightly ahead. I would have said that Sam Konstas struggled with coming back from Test cricket to T20 cricket, but for the fact that Konstas played the Test match exactly like he plays T20. Edged and dropped. Chaudhry gets a lifeline. Edged through to the keeper and dropped. And away for 4 just to add insult to injury. He was too busy chatting away to the commentators, not paying attention to the game. A let-off for the Hurricanes. And now Chaudhry hooks it away for 4. Back-to-back boundaries. That one, a lot more authority to it. Chaudhry moves to 9. It's 2 for 45. Thank you very much for the follow, Raw. And welcome back, Jordan Awesome. Nice to see you again, Jordan. Two for 45, 3.3 overs. Absolutely nothing at all wrong with the run rate. Slower ball, outside off. Chaudhry cuts it away to point. Just the 1 run. Ollie, ahoy mate, welcome back. 5 4s and 3 6s already for the Hurricanes. What a difference it's been. The Thunder struggled to get the ball away, struggled to find the middle of the bat. Swing and a miss here from Waqar. That's more like what we saw from the Thunder innings as Hasnain bangs this one in short. Waqar goes for the cut, trying to lift it over the top of the circle. Comes up with nothing but air. Excuse me. So, Michelle, if you're still there, somebody actually came up with a fantastic idea, a fantabulous idea in the chat room the other night. Because, you know, as this one, straight drive down the ground, beautiful hit. Waqar, it races down to the fence for 4. What a glorious straight drive. I tell you what, if he's on debut, he looks good. And the Hurricanes, despite the wickets, looking right on track. Yeah, so basically, you know how in cricket, obviously, there's a whole lot of statistics. There's a lot of statistics in the footy as well, but I mean, I think they're more prevalent in cricket. So somebody actually said in the chat room, what's your SIP per over rate? And I went, Mate, I don't know, but that's just given me a brilliant idea for cricket streams. God bless you, sir. Thank you for a fantastic idea. Dan's sip per over rate as Andrews into the attack. Chaudhry guides it away fine, beats the circle. Should be an easy 2. And they do come back for 2. Well run. I thought that was quite frankly the most fantastic idea ever. Something that we could accommodate for the footy as well, in some capacity. Chaudhry cuts it away. Man on the boundary out there, though, so just the one. It's going to be a good game, isn't it? Simon, number 1. Simon, number 1, GOAT. Joaquim steps back in the crease. Chops it down. 1 run out to deep square leg. Chaudhry cuts it. Can't beat Agar. Dot ball. Yeah, so it seems like Ben McDermott, he's only going to bat if required. And he will have a runner. So that means he'll come in very, very late as Chaudhry cuts it away to the offside. Protection out there on the boundary, so just the 1 run. I think that's killed my multi. I do believe that has killed my multi if he comes in at 11. Six runs off that over. It's 2 for 56. 5 overs gone. Chris Green, the Bondi vet, back into the attack. Well, not back into the attack. It's his first over. All right, so if Green takes a wicket, the multi is safe. I get the wager back for only 1 leg potentially failing. So if Green takes a wicket, we can all relax whether or not McDermott is able to do anything becomes irrelevant. And I'll get the wager back either way. Chaudhry and Joaquim, though, doing well here. 14 apiece. 2 for 56. Green. Well fielded off his own bowling there. Diving off to his right. Stopping any potential run. Wakeham. That's his name. Off the legs down to the man at long on for 1 run. Two for 57. Current run rate 10.06. The required run rate 7.53. Hasn't really, the start that they've got off to, it hasn't really come down all that much. That required run rate is still hovering around the same mark as it's out to mid-wicket for another single. Yeah, the start that they got off to, the Hurricanes, we thought might have taken a bit more of a dent out of that required run rate. Good over there from Green, as you would expect. Just the 3 runs from it. Beautifully bowled. Just need him to get a wicket, that's all. If he gets a wicket, we're all good. Two for 59. Will Main, ahoy, buddy. How you doing? Andrews bowls him. Andrews clean bowls him. Wakeham goes for the sweep shot. Comes up with nothing but air, but Andrews cleans up leg stump. That is a massive wicket. End-to-end spin. Andrews is pumped because he knows what a big breakthrough that is. Wakeham goes for 16 off 16. Bowled Andrews. It's 3 for 59. That required run rate and the current run rate starting to close up very, very quickly. The Thunder bringing themselves back into this contest big time. And they are back in a big, big way. Jeez, would I be tempted to say that the Thunder are slightly on top now? Tim David out to the crease. Let's see, what do the bookies say? The bookies are still saying Hobart Hurricanes. Yep, they're still saying Hurricanes. I'm starting to lean towards the Thunder here. As Andrews in again to David, punches to the offside, no run. It's really starting to tighten up now. And the Hurricanes batting is starting to look a lot more like the Thunder. Turned away to the offside again. Dot ball. Marcus Rogers, ahoy bait. Welcome back. Actually, I'm wondering if I'm so curious if my soundboard... I know that my soundboard plays on YouTube. I'm just curious if does my soundboard play on TikTok? Let's see. I've got to see if I can find something. All right. TikTok. Can you hear this?
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
Now, I know that my soundboard plays on YouTube. I'm curious if my soundboard plays on TikTok. Yes! Another single here. A good over again for the Sydney Thunder. We've got a game on our hands. The Hurricanes were cruising after the start. 3 for 61. 7 overs gone. Let's not forget, they were none for 32 after 2 overs. None for 32 after 2 has become 3 for 61 after 7. The Thunder have fought right back into this one. Paddy Conroy, welcome back. Go the Stars. How good would it be, honestly, how good would it be to see the Stars go on an undefeated run, make the finals after the start that they got off to? Everyone loves a good underdog story. Not that I would consider them underdogs, but underdogs from the situation that they're in. Chaudhry just punches it down the ground for one. Melbourne Stars versus the Hobart Hurricanes in the final. Imagine that. But the Hurricanes have got to get through this first. Big turnaround in this game. The Sydney Thunder maybe just slightly on top here at the moment. I know that the Hurricanes are still ahead of the required run rate just as David drives it down the ground. Just the one run. They're just slightly ahead of the required run rate at the moment. But for mine, honestly, I've got the Thunder. They've got the momentum at the moment. I think they're just slightly on top. Huge favourites, the Hurricanes, with the bookies. I can't believe. Massive favourites with the bookmakers. I appreciate that, Paddy Conroy. I really do. But I just don't think it would work out. Well, for starters, I can't imagine me wearing a suit or like a collared shirt or anything. I don't think I'd be allowed to wear my bandana, which is not a problem. I've done many streams before without the bandana. But I can't imagine me wearing a suit or like business attire. I can't imagine me being told what to say. Because we know that there's an agenda on the TV commentary. There's certain things you're allowed to say, certain things you're not. I can't imagine that I would be controlled. It wouldn't last very long. Tommy Lobb, ahoy, mate. How are you? And Dan Jam over there on YouTube saying, wouldn't want you to anyway. Because that would, of course, mean no more streams. Wide down the leg side, green. The Bondi vet just gets that a little wrong. It would be very interesting, though. I'm not going to lie. It would be very, very interesting. It would be a very interesting relationship. Me on a TV gig. As David turns this off the pads. 5 runs off the over. Will Main asking for a ladder update. Well, as it stands right now, whoever wins this will go to the top of the table. Whoever loses this becomes very, very susceptible to the pack of chasing teams led by the Brisbane Heat. But the Brisbane Heat, the Perth Scorchers, the Adelaide Strikers, they are all breathing down the neck. Looking for that 4th spot. Well, there we go. The Thunder, the Sixers, and the Hurricanes all on 9 points in the top 3. The Brisbane Heat on 7 in 4th. The Scorchers in 5th on 6th place. As David charges, gets the outside edge through the vacant slip cordon for 4. So the Scorchers are 5th. Fake Slim Shady. Ahoy, mates. Welcome along. David charges again. Just the single. 88 MT. Ahoy. Who do I go for in the BBL? The Brisbane Heat. And if I'm not going for the Brisbane Heat, my secondary team are the Melbourne Renegades. Will Main asks if the Stars can still make the finals. Yes, but they would have to win every single game. They would have to go through undefeated. And they may even need some other results to go their way. But can they? Yes, they certainly still can, mathematically. Three for 72 here. 6 off this over so far. 2 balls remain. David looks to chop it away to the offside. But Agar is there in the circle. Keeps it down to a dot. The Hurricanes are in just a spot of bother here. A little spot of bother. AB. Jack Rainsford, thank you very much for the GG. Oh, look at that. They're still going. 28 GG. Cheers, Jack. That's, thank you very much for that. That's pretty hardcore.
You're not hardcore. Unless you live hardcore.
Cheers for that, Jack Rainsford. 9 overs gone. It's 3 for 72. And for the first time in this run chase, the required run rate has drifted out beyond the current run rate. For the first time, they're a little bit behind here, the Hurricanes. As Dan Christian into bowl. Starts with a slower ball that just digs into the pitch. And Chaudhry turns it away for just the 1 run. David down to long on for a single. Paddy Conroy, who is the most underrated BBL player? Oh, geez, there's probably a few of them, to be honest. But the most underrated. Dan Christian in again. We'll have a think about that. Christian in again, shorter ball. Chaudhry lifts it down to the third man fence for 4. Fantastic effort. Too short there from Christian. And a much-needed boundary here for the Hurricanes. 3 for 78. Chaudhry. I might have to say at the moment, at this very point in time in the BBL, as Chaudhry turns this one onto the onside. Just the single. Tegan. Where am I watching this? On Channel 7, live and free. Jake, who's a better fielder, Silk or Maxwell? Oh, Maxwell. Christian in again, slower ball, outside off. David charges, thumps it into the gap, and that is a beautiful shot from Tim David. All the way to the boundary for 4. And Dan Christian is just getting it a little wrong here, the length. Favorite batsman to watch? Well, Ben Duckett has been fun to watch this BBL 14, but my favorite BBL player at the moment is Cooper, Youngblood, Connolly as Christian in again. Gets it wrong again. And David lifts this over the fence for 6. Again, he goes to the offside and just lifts it over cover. And Tim David could be the key here for this Hurricanes chase. Dan Christian goes for 17 off the over, and he looks absolutely gassed too, the poor old fella. He had a glorious return the other night. But he is being thumped back down to earth here tonight. Dan Christian, 17 off his opening over. And this game is still on a knife's edge. Koza. Hurricanes probably still favourites to win. 88 MT asks if I do Supercoach. I honestly did not even know that Supercoach was a thing for BBL. We will be doing the NRL Supercoach this season to go with the tipping contest. Wasted World of Sports, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, live on Twitch, live on Facebook. And yes, we will be playing all the fantasy games for the 2025 season. We're doing tipping at the moment for the BBL, but I had no idea that there was a Supercoach for BBL. But yes, we will have, for Super Rugby and for the NRL season, we will have all the fantasy stuff, leagues up and running for it. Three for 89, the Hurricanes. Hayden CL22. What do I reckon about Mitch Marsh being taken out of the test side? Oh, probably about 20 years overdue. I might be exaggerating. Slightly, of course. But yeah, Mitch Marsh was one of those players, right? He got given so many chances, and I don't think he ever really fully delivered. I'm surprised that he got as big a test career as he did, to be perfectly honest. Andrews, 3 overs, 1 for 14. And they've turned to him here. They're going to bowl him out. And look to take some more wickets. More wickets would be massive, obviously. Chaudhry. Happy to just bang it down the ground for 1. I don't think Swepson's. If you're talking about Mitch Swepson, but it keeps auto correcting you. Good old Mitch Stepson. Yeah, I think you mean Mitch Swepson. I don't think his form really warrants being included. He's obviously been included in the past, so it might make sense to go to him again. I just don't think his form's really warranted it, to be perfectly honest. Andrews starts well here. Oh, Ryan, same here, mate. Ryan Spokes says, FML, I need McDermott to bat. Chris Green to take a wicket and Ben McDermott to get 10-plus runs are the final 2 legs of an 8-leg multi that I need. So this has really kicked me in the balls as well. 3 for 90. Oh. Hang on, they're giving an update on Ben McDermott. Three for 92 here. Andrews has bowled extremely well. And he finishes with a dot. He's bowled out now. 4 overs, 1 for 17. Andrews, a fantastic spell. The Hurricanes 3 for 92 after 11. Delicately poised match, this one. Hurricanes still need 73 runs at 8.11 and over. The current run rate just ahead at 8.36. He is going to bat if required, Ryan. So basically, he will be coming in at number 11. He will only bat if required, and there still hasn't been confirmation as to whether he will have a runner or not. Chances are he will require a runner. But yeah, he's coming in at 11 if he comes in at all, which is a right pain in the ass. Green starts his third over with a wide. And they also run through for a single, so that's one wide. A wide and one run. 3 for 94. And again, wide down the leg side. Well, Chris Green's just getting his line very, very wrong here at the moment. 2 wides to start. David charges down the pitch and fends it back to the bowler for a dot ball. Yes, so Ben McDermott tweaked his hamstring while fielding. And yeah, he'll only bat if required tonight. But he may not need to. Chaudhry and David doing the job at the moment. 3 for 96. And they're just controlling this run rate at the moment nicely, the two of them. 27 off 20 for Chaudhry, 21 off 21 for David. Green bangs this one in a little shorter, turned away for one to the leg side. None for 13 off his 2.3 so far. Three for 97. Down the pitch goes David, but he picks out the man at cover. Dot ball. Floats this one up full. David punches it back down the ground. Just the single. Ryan Spokes, I would be taking the power surge right bloody now. You've got 2 set batsmen. Chaudhry's been out there for 21 balls. David for 23. They're both set. They're both in the 20s. Now is as good a time as any. Put this game to bed. Take the power surge. Go 12 and over off the surge. And they are well ahead. And then, if it comes down to a scenario where they get themselves into a little bit of trouble and Ben McDermott does need to bat, it might be a situation where he only needs to fight through 20 or so runs. You know what I mean? So, yes, I would take it. I would take it immediately. They're running out of batsmen. They're running out of batsmen fast. And this game is just starting to really even up. Garton comes back into the attack to bowl his second. No power surge taken. God, I would have taken it. I really would. Anyway, it looks like Green's going to let me down with the bowling anyway. He has not looked like taking a wicket at all. Garton, wide outside of stump, well wide. This might even be off the pitch. And if this is off the pitch, If this is off the pitch, it's going to be a no ball and a free hit. They'll have a close look at this. Garton got this horribly wrong. Let's have a look at this on replay. It's, millimeters. Millimeters on the pitch. So it is just a wide. Edged and taken. Chaudhry's gone. Well, they should have taken the power surge. Chaudhry's gone. Just hangs the bat outside off stump. Edged through to the keeper. That's a massive wicket. They might regret not taking the power surge here. Oh, that's a monster of a wicket. Chaudhry rocks his head back in frustration. Send out McDermott now. Why not? Why not? I mean, is it really going to matter all that much in the end? Is there any benefit sending an injured McDermott out there with potentially a tail-end batsman? And who knows? He might just do some damage. If that leg is as bad as it potentially is, and he's forced to just stand and deliver, call the power surge, send him out there, and just let him go for it. Not the worst idea in the world. Chris Jordan it is, though, sent out to bat. Also not the worst idea in the world. Oh, Ryan, I'm completely with you, mate. If he gets 10-plus runs, it gets me money. Chris Jordan comes out to bat. Garton. First ball is wide outside off stump, and Jordan just plugs it away into the gap. They'll come back for 2. And Jordan is off and running straight away. Jacko, I've tipped the Hobart Hurricanes in this one. So, for the sake of the tipping contest and maintaining top spot, I would like to see them go through to win. I mean, I'm quite a few games ahead anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I'd like to maintain that lead as best as possible. As Jordan again cuts away to the offside, just the 1 run this time. 4 for 103. 62 runs required. 8.27 is the required run rate. 8.24 is what they're going at the moment. That is how tight this contest is. This is going to go down to the wire. Garton in again. Beautiful straight drive from David. Didn't get all of it. The man at long on will run around and cut it off. That's Konstas down there. And they come back for 2. Hurricanes game to lose, reckons Josh Shemansky. Oh, yeah, I think it's still up in the air a little bit. Especially with the prospect of Ben McDermott not really being able to bat. They're essentially a batsman down. Take the surge. They have to take the surge with these 2 out here. It's not negotiable. They must take the surge with these 2 out there. Whether they give Jordan 1 more over to get himself in, they've got to take it with these 2 out here. They absolutely must. 4 for 106. 12.5 overs gone. 59 runs needed. Garton with 1 ball left in his second over, 2 for 24. And Jordan happy to just push it away to the offside for a single. So Garton, 2 overs, 2 for 24. He's got the wickets, though, is the key. All right, quick break. Be right back. power surge is called. The power surge has been called. It absolutely had to happen. Where's Waqar to bowl? 1 for 5 of his first over. Now, his last power surge over was abysmal, if I'm remembering correctly. So here is a real opportunity for the Hurricanes. The surge has been taken. It's time for the Hurricanes to go boom, boom. Waqar to Jordan. Cut away. There's protection out there at deep backward point, and it's just the one run. These are the key overs. I mean, it might be a case of stating the obvious, but these are the overs, I reckon. Whoever wins the power surge wins the game. I'll say that. The Hurricanes will either bring that required run rate right down to 6 or 7 and over, or the Thunder will walk away with this at status quo and feel very happy about things. David drives it over the top of mid-off. One bounce over the rope for 4, and that's more like it. David is the key to this power surge. 100%. The Hurricanes need him on strike for a majority of it, and it's shots like that. Bang, straight down the ground. He sort of went inside out on that as well. The natural shot there would have been long on, but he kind of goes inside out on that and lifts it over long off, well, mid off, down to the fence for 4. Waqar with a nice adjustment there. And it's clipped away off the pads, leg by. And Jordan back on strike. 52 needed off 39. Oh, this one's going to go down to the wire. If they can get this down to as close to 6 and over as possible, the Hurricanes will be on top. If the Thunder can exit this power surge stage still 7.5 and over, I think they'll feel like they've won that little period of play. I mean, still a lot of work to do for both sides to win the match. As Jordan, this one just goes down to long leg for a single. David back on strike. Only 6 off the over so far. They're going to need more. At least 12 and over off these power surge overs. That's what they'll be looking for. Waqar into Tim David. David holds the key. Gives himself some room on the leg side. And punches it down the ground for 4. Beautiful stroke. Tim David. Didn't even go through the air. Magnificent shot. Now it's become a good over. 10 from it. Final ball here for Wes Waqar. Half volley right on the legs. And Tim David says, "Thank you, sir." Scoops it up over mid-wicket for 6. And that became a massive over. Hurricanes, 41 or 30. Another over like that. And they'll be in control of this run chase. Clarkie, ahoy there, mates. How did Sam Konstas go? Terrible. Got out for 4. Got very bogged down and frustrated. And ended up going for the big hit, top edging through to the keeper for 4. Massive over that one for the Hurricanes. Tim David doing the damage. And this game swings well and truly in favor of the home side. Hussein, none for 28 off 2 so far, and that's right in the slot. And Jordan gives it the treatment. Didn't quite get it out of the middle of the bat. Spanks it over extra cover for 4. Oh, they're right on top here. The surge. See, chat room, we talked about it, right? We called it. The chat room was onto it. They knew what needed to happen. The Hurricanes called it. And they've got themselves right on top here. Watch them lose a wicket now that I've said this. 37 off 35. Hussein edged. Bottom edge, though. And taken behind the stumps. That was either a bottom edge or it was Jordan smashing the pitch. There was a big noise, but no interest from the field at all. But a dot ball, 37 off 34. And it does look like the Hurricanes are going to walk out of this power surge with under 6 and over required, which is the perfect result for them. I feel absolutely jilted about poor Ben McDermott, though. Hussein in again, wide outside off stump, and Jordan spanks this one away through the covers for 4. Poor bowling, it was right in the slot. And Chris Jordan, that is just a gift. The team that wins the surges typically wins the match. And the Hurricanes are flying along here now. Well and truly on top. Lockie Bragger, ahoy! 33 needed from 33. And that's a full toss. Jordan takes on the arm of the man at mid-on. Now, was that above waist height? Probably not. We haven't really seen them called. Chris Jordan just grabbing at his hamstring there. He raced through. He had to go to top gear to get through for that run. Max Bryant is dead. And we're going to need the very best out of Max. But now that is clearly above waist height. Tim David, though, has pulled it into the upper deck. That is clearly a no ball for above waist height. And Tim David takes maximum from it. Let's see if this has been called. No, geez, that's... Might have just dipped under the waist. Tim David's a tall man. He's taken maximum value out of this anyway. Launches it. Pulls it away. Square of the wicket for 6. 26 needed of 31. Here come the Hurricanes. Well on top now. My multi, damn it. Ben McDermott tweaking his hamstring. He's not even going to get a chance to bat here. The Hurricanes would have to crumble so badly for him to even get in. David pulls this away, hooks it away. 6 more. It's the Tim David show. Another 6. What a monstrous over. 21 from it. A big power surge, and that puts the Hurricanes surely in an unlosable position now. Surely. Lockie Bragger, I've got a few businesses. I work for myself. I mean, some might use the phrase entrepreneur. I don't. I find it kind of tacky to call myself that. I'm happy for other people to call me that, though. But yes, I've got a few businesses that I run, so I work for myself, hence why I always seem to have so much time to be able to cover all these games. It's the Tim David Show as the Hurricanes storm towards victory. 4 for 145, 15 overs gone. And the Hurricanes need 20 runs now from 30 balls. And David's brought up his half-century in amongst that as well. Garton back into the attack. Slower ball. Jordan swings through early, misses it completely. 4 for 145. Well bowled from Garton. Chris Jordan just needs to get David back on strike, basically. Garton into Jordan again, slower ball, punches down the ground, runs hard for the first, but settles for one. No thought of the second. David back on strike. Now, this is always very easy to say after the fact, but honestly, I was tossing up between Tim David and Ben McDermott. I ended up going with Ben McDermott. Boy, am I kicking myself now, right? Tim David's gone on for 51. Ben McDermott won't even get the chance to bat. So now I just need Green to take a wicket. If Green takes a wicket, I at least get my wager back for one leg failing. So that's what we need from this game now. Another wicket and Green to take it as David happy to just turn this away on the leg side for one. 18 runs needed now of 27 balls. And the Hurricanes looking like they're going to be top of the table. The job's not done, but it's looking likely. Garton, full ball. Jordan punches it away to the offside, just the single. That's all they need to do now. They have got themselves in a very comfortable situation where singles will win at 17 of 26. Tim David's been the key. Chaudhry and Wakeham as well contributed nicely. And the start from Owen. David wants two. Jordan happy to come back. And that's well run. The 150 is up. The 50 partnership is up between these two. 150 for the team. 15.5 overs gone. It's 4 for 150. 15 runs needed. They're almost home. And looking ahead, well, we'll wait for this ball. Bangs it in short. David cuts it away. Protection out on the fence, but should be two. They settle for one. Why not? They don't need to. 4 for 151 after 16, and looking ahead, Wasted World of Sports live on YouTube, live on TikTok, and a big doubleheader tomorrow. Well, potentially, I've heard that there's a lot of rain around Sydney, so hopefully we get a game. But a big doubleheader tomorrow, if we do get it. The Sydney Sixers taking on the Perth Scorchers, which is basically, I mean, the Perth Scorchers, it's almost a must-win. Perth Scorchers is almost a must-win there against the Sixers. And the Adelaide Strikers versus the Brisbane Heat. Two big games. The Adelaide Strikers and Brisbane Heat, it's a must-win for both teams. I think the Sydney Sixers could afford to lose. They won't want to, naturally. Nobody wants to, but they could lose and still make the finals. The Perth Scorchers, though, I think it's a must-win. And the Strikers and the Heat, both on a must-win. So, it's going to be some very intense games coming up tomorrow. A big doubleheader. I mean, what better way to spend a Saturday? Well, I can actually think of a few different ways. But still, it's going to be a good time nonetheless. The Red Knight, 47. Ahoy, mate. You need a wicket from Green. So do I. I also need 10 runs from Ben McDermott. That's clearly not going to happen. Ben McDermott's not even going to bat. But a wicket from Green would at least give me my wager back. So we would take that. Edged and dropped. Billings has dropped another one. That was a tough chance, though. That was a tough chance. Billings launches himself in the air with one arm above his head. Jordan has a big hoik at this outside off stump, and Billings has really... Agar's frustrated. Billings has dropped his second catch for the night. He's not had a good show of it. He's been too busy talking. I stand by that. David lifts this one up into the stands. It's on the roof. Tim David has put it on the roof. The second Hurricanes batsman tonight that has put it onto the roof of the stadium. Tim David. It's time for a new ball again. Up onto the roof. 105 meters onto the roof. Get that box of balls out there because we need a new one. And there it is, the box of balls. The umpires have got to try and remember, what did it look like? What did it look like? Let's get another one out there. 4 for 159. The Hurricanes cruising. They're going to have overs to spare. Many of them. The Hobart Hurricanes. Is this the team that's marching towards the championship? Six runs needed off 21 balls. They will be atop of the table. David just fends it down for no run. An unusual top ball. Six runs required, 19 to go. 2 left here for Wes Agar. So Green let me down. I did sort of question Green in my multi tonight. And again, a very easy thing to say after the fact. I completely understand. After the fact, that's easy to say. As David again pulls this away onto the leg side for 6. That's the match. The Hurricanes have won 16.5 overs in. 3.1 overs to spare. They've chased it down. Well, we talked about it in the chat room, saying that it was probably a 190 plus wicket. And that probably proves to be the case as the Hurricanes chase this down with 3 overs to spare. A big win. The Red Knight, 47. Yes, I had Riley Meredith in mind as well. But yes, well, that's interesting because it was Wes Agar who let me down the last Thunder game for a wicket. And it was Green who's let me down this time. Agar took one. I had Green and Agar. They are my go-to guys for wicket takers for the Thunder. And I'm pretty sure the last game Green took 2 or 3. So I got that one. And Wes Agar didn't get one. This time, Agar gets the wicket. Green misses out. It's always one of the two letting me down. Ah, well. It is what it is. And what this is a big, big win for the Hobart Hurricanes. They've gone to the top of the table. Clear top of the ladder. And they've got a game to spare. That is the situation. The Hurricanes are surely now qualified for the finals. They must be safely through to the finals now, you would have to think. Because they've got a game in hand as well, is the key. So if we have a look at the table, I'll just Bring it up here. Okay, so the Hurricanes. See, the Hurricanes now have played 7 games. They move clear on top of the table. The Thunder have played 8 games now. The Sixers and the Heat, who are below them, are on 7. Everybody else is on 7, apart from the Stars that have also played 8. But they are now top of the table, the Hurricanes, still with a game in hand over everybody below them. What a handy position that is to be in, right? They have surely qualified themselves for the finals, you would have to think, based on that. Is this the team charging towards the championship? The Hobart Hurricanes won with 3 overs to spare. Will chased it down with ease. Wasted World of Sports. We're not going to do too much of a post game here because I've got to get some rest for a big doubleheader coming up tomorrow. The Sydney Sixers taking on the Perth Scorchers, a must-win game for the Scorchers, followed up by the Adelaide Strikers versus the Brisbane Heat, my team. A must-win for both of them. The Sydney Sixers are probably the only team tomorrow that can afford, won't want, but could afford to lose. So we'll have to see. Big doubleheader coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to that one. It's going to be a massive day. I mean, honestly, one game of cricket is quite difficult to get through sometimes. 2 on the same day. Oh. So I've got to get some rest. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you all when you swing by. Thank you very much for your company here on this one. The Hobart Hurricanes get the win, and Tim David, player of the match. No surprise there, really, as he led his team home from the front perfectly. A fantastic effort. All right, so we're done here for tonight. The Hobart Hurricanes move to the top of the table. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What does this say? Hang on, what's this saying to me? Inactivity. No, I've already fixed that. Wasted World of Sports, thank you so much. And we'll catch you tomorrow for a big doubleheader. Until then, cheers.